In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You're advised that any views expressed by the hosts or their guests are not necessarily the views of Togi Entertainment or its partners.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd. It's hard not to get excited with that intro. What do you think, Rob?
I know it. I just want to stand up and sit up straight and just I'm ready to go. We've got a busy show today, as always. We always have such great things to talk about.
We do. And Rob, I want to say we are halfway through our third season. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, to say I still get excited over that intro, 3 years later. 3 years later.
And when you stop and think, all of the people that we've met in the last 3 years has just been phenomenal.
It has. And we've got so many great things coming up I want to share with our listeners today. Some of the things that are going to come with the second half of our season. Well, what do we got going? Well, we got lots going, Rob.
We got going.
Well, our Small Business Expo, this is week 3 of our Small Business 10-week Expo. Our first week we had Bob Corcoran of Corcoran Coaching. And for those of you that missed it, you guys can pick it up on iTunes, or you can go to TogiNet.com or militarymomtalkradio.com and pick up the rebroadcast. And he talked about military transferable skills, Rob. And that's something, our military people, when they transition from military to civilian life, think, well, I was a supply clerk, or I, was, driving a tank, that kind of translates to a Pepsi truck in my book, because Pepsi hires a lot of Marines. But, it was really great for Bob to come on and talk about those transferable skills.
Anyone who is looking for a job will always undermine what their skills are. And I think that's the most important thing, to look outside of the box. How many times has a housewife said, oh, well, I don't have any skills? Well, my goodness, of course you've had skills. You've had management, you've had organization, you've had budgeting, and all of these kinds of things. Multitasking.
And then some.
And that's one of the things that Bob really helped us with, is putting in perspective some of the things that we may have done in one part of our life's journey, and how we can make ourselves far more saleable, I guess you could say, in the next path that we're taking.
I think so. I think saleable is a great word, because when you're out looking for a job, it's you on sale. And
that's for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of which, then we had Mark Williams of the Edge 100K, which is a company out of Beverly Hills, and he talked about the power of saying no. And Rob, this is just so good for not only our military families, but just moms in general. He really talked a lot about what the opportunity cost is for saying yes, and how we miss other opportunities, how we miss things that we might have been able to do or push ourselves forward or give better opportunities to our family just by saying no to the things that don't serve us.
And isn't that true? Time management is such a difficult thing for us to grasp. And when we are not managing our time well, we just feel like some kind of vortex that's just sucking us into eternity somewhere. But just being able to have that control, yes, I can do this, no, I can't do that, to be able to confine the things that you know you're going to excel at, and then be able to say, this other entity in my life is not going to serve me or my family or my potential career, and being able to determine that and have those skills is just wonderful. So he really helped us putting those things into perspective. It really was a great show.
Yeah, and I think the vortex you're talking about is parenthood. That's the thing that sucks you into the vortex faster than anything else.
Well, so many times I think a mom, or I shouldn't say a mom, a parent, doesn't always have control of everything that they're doing in life, because a kid is just going to throw some little monkey wrench into what you thought you were just humming right along. And think of the little boo-boos your household had over the weekend. And
oh, we had so many. My son fell into a picture frame that I was framing on my lap, drove the shards of glass into my leg, and then my 5-year-old apparently is having a birthday party next weekend, which is not his birthday, but he's invited all these kids to my house because one of the moms called and asked me what she could bring. And I was completely unaware that there was a party in my own house. And his birthday's in August, but he's like, Mom, I really want to have it before school's out. Okay.
Isn't that cute? What a little resourceful person he is.
Oh yeah. He's got that opportunity. Opportunity knocks right down.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
but in furthering our business, our Biz Expo, today we have a real great gal, and I'm so anxious to meet her. Tell me a little more about her, San.
Norma Stratton. She is a small business women's expert. We love this because we know from, our women in the military and our combat stress guide that was written, I think, in 1967 for men, that we have different needs than men in the workforce. We have different conditions, especially during our lifetime. When you're single or a single mom or married or retired, or your children are grown, all those different demographics come to play with women in business, and she's going to walk us through that, which I think is really cool because I never really thought of it that way. I just kind of get through my day.
What I really think that is such and there again, women have so many other things that they face, and we wear so many hats, is that we really have to say, all right, what's in our best interest right now? What can I be doing? And still pursuing the things that you want to, and still being able to hold down whatever else you need to in your family. It's very hard. We have challenges that, you're right, that men don't always challenge, and then throw the military on top of that, and it's a whole nother ballgame.
It is. And then to round out the next 4 shows, we've got Michael Russer, who's going to talk about thinking outside of the box for the entrepreneurial spirit that resides in some of our military families. We've got Cased Post. She's from the A-Team hiring team in New York City. She's going to talk about how to get a job nationwide and what you can do to facilitate that. Then we bring on Debbie Gregory for VAMBOA, which is the Veterans Business Association. You might also know her as Military Connection. And then week 7, we have Bubba Mills, who's also from Corcoran Coaching, and he's going to talk about how to really kick some you-know-what in an interview.
Awesome. Well, and don't you need that? Because boy, oh boy, you've got your elevator speech all ready, and then what do? You get on the phone and they ask you something else, and your little elevator speech is completely out the window. So how to be prepared is just really great.
That kind of happens to us on the radio. You know that? When we ask a question that just falls flat or lays an egg, and we just sit there going, dead air, dead air.
Dead air, dead air. Oh, not today. Not today. We won't have it.
Not today. And we're going to continue on with our Military Writers Society of America series with Joyce Faulkner. We have learned how to craft a story. We've learned what stories are worth preserving, which are pretty much all of them, if you follow Joyce's advice and instruction. We've talked about editors and agents, and she's going to walk us through a whole bunch more so that we can preserve a lot of these stories that are dying with our veterans.
So valuable. And I think everybody has to realize that they have a story in them. Whether it's a small story, a large story, it's poignant for someone out there. And how important it is to The word didn't come out. Preserve is the word I was trying to spit out. To preserve all that history, and it's a wonderful gift. And so the first Monday of every month, we want everyone to join in so we can hear Joyce Faulkner
we've got
with
an Army
her
cookbook
series
coming out. We've got all sorts of great books coming out, and we're going to bring on some experts, Rob, some health and wellness experts, food experts from some of the most popular magazines of today. We've got Women's Day, we've got Better Homes and Gardens, Family Circle, Ladies Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, Reader's Digest. I don't know how we're going to have time for you and me to talk.
Well, maybe we better just put it on to what's coming up in this show. We're going to, as we said, talk to Norma Stratton about she's the real estate for women by women. But later in the show, we have an exciting guest to introduce to everybody. Her name is Marcella Stretch, and she is the founder of a Facebook support group called Parents of Deployed Service Members. So a little later on in the show, we're going to meet Marcella. And coming up just after the break, we're going to meet Norma. We've got a couple of minutes. Did you have a busy weekend otherwise, Sandra, other than people falling through frames and whatnot?
Well, I can tell you one thing that I did do. I fell into a rose bush. That was my trip of the week because the kids put a rubber snake, and it's snake season out here in Southern California. They had left a rubber snake, or maybe one of my dogs had pulled it there. So I'm out trimming my roses, humming along to my iPod. And I make a lot of noise, so I wasn't worried. And I looked down, and there is this snake. Jump out of my skin, fall backwards, scraped up. I look like a cutter. It's pretty bad. And it was a rubber snake.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes those kind of things, I'll see something out of the corner of my eye and I'll jump, and my husband thinks that I'm possessed, I think. Oh my gosh. Oh, San, no matter what happens, I think we all just give each other a hug and we just say, we're there for you. Whether it's a snake, whether it's a whatever, whether we're falling asleep in Salt Lake City airport.
Yeah, that was last week. That was last week. I fell asleep, seven airports in 4 days. It was a busy week.
You had a crazy week last week, but you met a lot of people over at Fleet Week, and that was wonderful.
That was. And I got to tell you, it's hard to feel sorry for myself when I only have to travel, get to stay in a nice place, and, our military families are PCS moving all over, and our guys are sitting on planes for, 26 hours to get somewhere.
Exactly.
Hard for me to complain.
I know. Well, San, on the other side of the break that we've got coming up, we're going to meet Norma Stratton. And then later on, stay tuned, because we'll have Marcella Stretch coming to tell us all about Parents of Deployed Service Members. But first, a little break, and then we'll catch you after on Military Mom Talk Radio. Be back in a moment.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
I am not the woman I used to be. I'm free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet. This is your chance, ladies, to hear stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there. Someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet in spite of this trauma, she has gone on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not the woman I used to be. I'm Free is a straight-up show to enlighten you and to lighten your load. Do not let the weight of this world or the things that have happened to you control your life. For more on the show and Diane and her book, The Story of Me, email her directly from her show page here on TogiNet. Then, join us for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com. Friday Nightcap Radio, 10 p.m. to midnight with Christy and Laura on TogiNet.com. Broadcasting from their scrappy kitchen in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. They've got nothing better to do than riff with their favorite Brooklyn-based independent vendors, artists, bands, bartenders, foodies, weirdos, and news stories. Featuring the live studio audience. Betty Rehab and the Gay Boys. Sex and dating commentary with the Impersonals. The unknown political masked man. And people who kind of know stuff. Stream on after your long week. Brooklyn's variety show of madcap intellectualism. Friday Nightcap Radio with Laura and Christy, 10 to midnight Eastern on TogiNet.com. Radio like you've never seen.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Red, white, and blue.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with my New Hampshire co-host, Robin Boyd. You were singing in the headphones, and I was like, am I hearing voices in my head?
I'm sorry. I'm just a happy camper today.
Well, you have a nice singing voice. I was like, where is that coming from? Is there feedback? Oh, my God, what is it? It was you.
Oh, okay. Turn your phone off because we have to talk to Norma.
It just rings constantly, all day long.
Yeah.
We got to talk to Norma. Norma Stratton is a small business women's expert. We love this because we are women and we are big, big proponents of small business, especially in this economy where we're doing some transitioning from military to civilian life. So anybody who has the entrepreneurial spirit, we want to support you. We want to help you. And that's why we are doing the Small Business Expo. And we have brought on Norma Stratton. And she is from, Robin, is it Virginia?
Virginia, I believe. Norma, hello, welcome. Are you there, Norma?
Do we have
I am here. How are you, Sandra?
You are.
Here I am. Here I
She's
am.
probably saying, here I am.
Yeah, here I am.
So, Norma, your site, Robin and I were on it this morning, and we were talking about it. One of the things you talk about on your site, you talk about the different hats we wear as women and the timeline we go through as women. And I don't know, I was kind of blown away by that, Rob, because I know we live it every day, but it's another thing to see it put down so clearly and concisely.
You know, it really is interesting because we do kind of pass through those phases, and one just kind of flows into the other, and we don't go, okay, now I'm in this phase, and here's what I do. Okay, now switch, now I'm in the next phase, and here's what I do. But it was very obvious to me that, you know, you start out, you're at home, then you go independent, your first job out of school, whatever, and then you become a couple, then you get married, then you have children, then you grow as a family. And as a realtor, I was seeing it in phases of housing needs. And then, you know, you have to move up, then you become an empty nester, and then you're either divorced or widowed. And you have to plan for all of these phases, both financially, emotionally, and kind of start preparing. I have a 30-year-old daughter, and I see her going, it seems like everybody goes through this process. It was very eye-opening for me.
You know, and it's one of those things that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, when you say that, I think of, you know, my aunts who have gone before me in business, my mother, my friends, you know, but yet it's an eye-opening thing to each one of us, especially because it's so, your conditions are so different. Rob, don't you agree?
Well, I do. And I was just kind of thinking, how many times have you and I talked and you'll say something about the kids or you'll say something about the house, and I've gotten through that part in my life. So I'm able to turn to you and say, gee, this, I understand where you're coming from there. Or yes, I remember when. And it is true. I think this is the one gift that we all have with each other, is to be able to network, to be able to share with each other, and to be able to give each other that shoulder when we need it.
That's good for you, because I can't give you anything. I'm like, Rob, help! Please, for the love of God, I can't be a single mother one more day.
But you give me the inspiration and the energy. And see, that I think is just the cyclical thing about our networking. And Norma, don't you think so? Because I can see the way you've kind of laid out. You're talking somewhat about you're talking about real estate, but you are talking about life. You're talking about buying your first home, sharing lives, outgrowing. And time, is it time to move up? Children have flown. Do you really need this much space? It is so hard to make those decisions, and it's nice to sort of have a resource to be able to turn to and say, yeah, it's right now. Do you find yourself feeling like the bartender giving everybody advice?
Oh, a million times a day. It's, I see myself more as a counselor than a salesperson, because people will come to their own conclusions if you guide them properly in what's best for them. But everything's so new to them as they're going through the experience. And so it helps to take a step back. And like you said, the benefit of hindsight, when you've already gone through that phase, you can it's really interesting to me, especially when you get to the second half of your life. I work with a lot of older women, especially. It seems recently I went through a phase where I just worked with 20-somethings, and now they've all evolved. But it really is. It's a labor of love to sit with them and go through this, knowing that they can be guided and that they don't have to have a whole lot of drama, at least in this part of their life experience.
Well, and speaking of drama, Norma, we have such a high rate of divorce in the military. How does that affect women, especially with respect to their finances, with their home situation? And I'm talking about from a thought level, not just, they have to move, they have to, scale back a lot of times, go back to work. What does that do to the psychology of women?
I think it's very, very hard for women to make that shift. Because not having ever been in the military, I can't speak to that exactly, but I will say from the military couples that I've had, some of which have separated, what I find is that the women have really managed a lot of the stuff that they have to do while their spouses are deployed. And so they are in this power position of really juggling all the balls and managing everything. And then when a separation occurs, what I have found is that they become a little bit frail, and you almost have to empower them again. Look, you've done this. You can do this. You can go forward. I don't know if I'm answering your question, though.
Well, no, that's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say, because what I found, with my friends and even with myself in the divorce is that, I was taking care of everything. I was taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, taking care of the finances. I did everything. But the process of getting a divorce, and I see this with my military friends, as a woman's standpoint internally is so shattering that your confidence is shaken. And, the only thing that changed for me and for many of my military friends was just the piece of paper. You know, I was no longer married. I was no longer joined, you know, in holy matrimony, and I was, divorced or recycled, as I like to call it. But that did something in my head that made me think all of a sudden I couldn't handle. Well, I had to do the same things before as I did after, but it was my head that got in the way.
Absolutely. And, you know, the stuff that is between the ears is what stops everything. You know, you can spend your time really sabotaging or, you know, just that self-talk that doesn't support who you truly are. And as you know, understanding your core values and who you are and how you perform does a lot to bolster that confidence that to say, hey, I can do this. I have been doing it. Are you kidding? You know, it's great to have a partner, but I'm already there. I just have to see it for myself.
Well, and that's where I think, you know, somebody like you can help people see that because, you know, my parents did that. My parents were like, Sam, look, you've been on your own already for like 5 years. What's the big deal? What's the big difference? But it honestly took me probably 2 years to wrap my head around that, yeah, I can do this.
Well, you know, there's a whole dynamic with, and even whether you're military or not, going through the divorce process. I have a woman right now who's, I'm getting a divorce. No, I'm not. You know, she's trying to find her place in this relationship. And I think you project too far into the future instead of staying present.
Sure.
About what are you going to do next? How am I going to manage? But these are all made up things that you create that are so big that make you feel small. Whereas if you stay in the present moment, handling whatever issues are at hand and focusing on solutions, then you're okay. You know, you start to feel more and more confident. At least that's what I found with my clients. I feel like I have to hold their hand and not get too involved in their emotional struggle, and that I don't mean that in an unkind way because I do care, but sometimes they, I don't know. I mean, you've been through it. I haven't, but do you find that just sometimes you're just angry and you
Oh, yeah. Are you
kidding?
And then you want to rip somebody's head off most days. I mean, we're as a society. And Norma, I'm going to ask you to hang on with us. We're going to go to break in about a minute. I'm going to ask you to hang on because we're trying to reach our guest, Marcella, who's upcoming. But until we reach her, I'd like you to hang with us. Rob, I'm going to go ahead and close out the segment.
Go ahead. Yep.
My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Military Mom Talk Radio, along with Robin Boyd. Our guest today is Norma Stratton, and she's a small business expert, and she also advises women on how to handle finances, their emotions, their real estate purchases as they go through the different stages in their life. And when we come back from the break, we're going to visit with her a little bit more until we get a hold of Marcella from Parents of Deployed Service Members. So you guys, you want to come back after the break. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you think, Rob?
I'm ready and waiting.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Mark Lipinski is coming to TogiNet. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski, a live 2-hour show Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. Creative Mojo. It's fun, entertaining, informative, inspirational, and illuminating. Lipinski has worked on such shows as Oprah, The View, The Joan Rivers Show, and Ricky Lake. He's busy, but he's got the drive to share with Creative Mojo, dedicated to the modern crafter and crafting lifestyle. Dive into the info and enjoy everything from celebs to entertainment news to recipes, quilting and needlework, knitting, painting, woodworking, Christmas crafts, and so much more. This show boldly encourages you to discover and harness your own creative spirit by living creatively every day. For more on Mark and the show, check out marklipinski.com. Don't miss the fun. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski. Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com.
Have you been laid off, fired, downsized, right-sized, or re-engineered out of a job? Are you unemployed or anticipate that possibility? Then tune in for Successfully Unemployed, hosted by Alan Sherwood, MBA, president of Sherwood Consulting Service. Successfully Unemployed will provide you a hope-filled and comprehensive approach to the job search process from an author who's experienced it all. Alan and his guests will cover all dimensions of a job search: physical tasks, mental attitude, emotional health, even one's spiritual perspective. All must be integrated in order for a person to be successfully unemployed so they can then be successfully employed. This show is designed to help you move forward from job loss to finding or creating more fulfilling work. For more on Alan Sherwood, MBA, and the show, check out his website, successfullyunemployed.com. Then join us for Successfully Unemployed with Alan Sherwood, MBA. Thursday nights at 8, 7 Central here on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and I want to wrap up with Norma really quick. We had to go to break, and she brought up something that happens to a lot of us when we divorce, and that's anger. I mean, there were days I wanted to rip somebody's head off, Norma, and that really affects your decision-making ability.
Oh, do we lose Norma now?
Oh, I don't know. Well, you know what?
I'm here.
Oh, it's all good. Do we have Marcella on the line? Do we have Norma? Do we have anybody?
Norma's here.
There we go,
Okay,
Norma. Did you hear my little rant about when I got divorced? There were days that I had so much anger that it was difficult to make a decision.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, I found it very difficult because of the anger in my divorce, the frustration, the anger. I had little kids. My husband had an affair, so I was dealing with that stuff. When you have all that stuff going on in your head as a woman, and I don't know about men because I don't know how their brains work at all, clearly, it makes it hard to make a decision.
It absolutely does. I mean, I'm working with a couple right now. They're on the sell side, and I'm on the purchaser side. But the wife is really trying to sabotage everything, not intentionally, because she knows that this is the right thing for them, and she knew this day was coming. But she's very angry, and so we have to work to kind of set that aside and keep the eye on the prize, and see how we can move forward so that it's to your benefit, and kind of set the emotion aside. And that is easier said than done, but that's where we become more counselors in the process, in trying to hold someone's hand and let them know that they will be okay, that they can do this, and that it is the best. And being angry and sabotaging a deal is just not in your best interest. And we kind of lay it all out so that they can step back, catch their breath, and then act without anger, but with both feet grounded.
Wonderful. advice to think about. And Norma, I want to direct people to your website because if they're in the Virginia area, I certainly want people to find you. But
thank
I
you.
encourage anybody to go to your website because the information that you have there is going to transcend, I think, to no matter where someone is. And your advice is so rich, and I believe that it will just be fuel for somebody else to turn and be able to go forth in whatever neck of the woods they are. So, Norma, let's give your website out to people. Why don't you let us know what that is?
Yes, it's www.normastratton.com, and that's Stratton, STRATTON.com.
Wonderful. Norma, thanks so much for all of your advice, for your insight, but thanks so much for giving us sort of a well-rounded timeline for us to really realize that we're not alone, that we really are experiencing things that so many others have, and thanks so much for your advice. We appreciate it. It's wonderful meeting you.
You're quite welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great. Take care. Well, Sandra, you are about to meet a wonderful gal. Her name is Marcella Stretch. She has begun a wonderful resource for parents of deployed service members on Facebook, a wonderful support group. Marcella, are you with us? I think.
I think we're having some technical difficulties. Marcella?
Yes. Hi.
There she is. Woohoo!
Welcome, dear. How are you?
I'm
The
wonderful.
national nightmare is over. So, Marcella, how come you started your Facebook group? What propelled you to do that?
What propelled me to start the group was back in 2009, my oldest son deployed to Iraq, and he left July of 2009. And for the first couple of months, I felt alone as far as not being able to communicate with other parents who were going through deployments as well. And I was on Facebook, and I was searching for a group that was geared to parents that had deployed troops, and there was none out there. So I had a few parents that I was friends with, and we all brainstormed and said, okay, let's start our own group. And that's how Pod started.
And how many current members do you have now? This is a closed group, you guys. So
yes,
you
it
can't
is.
just click on and join. So, Marcel, how many members do you have currently to date?
Currently, we have 1,332 parents in our group or members.
And you guys are really active. You guys
Very
have
active.
a lot of stuff going on. I popped in there. I recently become a member. And you guys, man, you cover everything.
Yes, we do. We cover pre-deployment, deployment, and post-deployment.
Wow.
And you have a broad range of people. Do you have people from all across the country? Do you have some people overseas as well?
I think we lost Marcella, but we do have a caller, Sabrina. Can we bring in one of our callers?
I believe we have someone named Marcia on the line. Do we have Marcia?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Marcia. Welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Ooh, you're in
Oh,
Denver.
wow.
So what's your question and comment today?
Well, I've just been a member of Pods with Marcella since December. My son deployed the 1st of December, and they actually found me by a post that somebody saw after he had deployed and the hard time I was having with him being gone. And they've just been so supportive, and anything you need or have questions of, there's 75 people that answer whenever you post a question. So it just has been such a helpful group.
Now, Marcia, your son is deployed, so that means you're one step removed. You're not living on base. You don't have that support structure. Is that what you're finding in Pods in the Facebook group?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm finding. I mean, my daughter-in-law, who is stationed stationed in Fort Richardson, Alaska, so she has all of the support up there, and she keeps us very well informed. But she's a wife, not the mom, and so the parents have lots more questions than the wives do, and there just isn't any place to get those questions answered that you have.
And I think, too, so many times, especially if you are the parent, you aren't, as we were saying, you aren't on the base. You're the one who is at 2 o'clock in the morning sitting there thinking, I wish I knew. I'm feeling this loneliness. I'm feeling this inner angst. And to be able to go onto a Facebook group and to be able to say, gee, I need someone to talk to right now. There's someone right there that understands exactly where you're coming from.
Yep, that is especially true, and we're all there. I mean, we all have our down days and we all have our up days, so we also are able to help the people, when we're having an up day that are having that down day. So it just has been, such a tremendous support. I just can't, I don't know where I'd be today if I wouldn't have had that.
Wow. Marcia, thanks so much. We've got a couple of other people. I'm so glad that you came in and gave us your thoughts. Marcella, how did you begin to get connected with a lot of these people? Did all of a sudden people just start popping in and saying they wanted to join the group?
No, some of the people were recruited by, I'm going to use the word recruited, they were recruited by other members that were friends with them, or if I was in another group like Army Moms or any other groups, I would, if I noticed that they had a deployed son or daughter, I would invite them to join our group.
Yeah. That is so great. I mean, these, I'm members of probably 15 or 20 different military groups, from the radio station, and I get to pop into these groups. And, some of them are so powerful. Yours is very, very powerful. And we have another caller. We have Ardith. Ardith is on the line. Your question or comment, please.
Hi, this is Artie. I'm here.
Hey, where are you calling in from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Midwest.
Woo! We got a cheesehead on the line.
Wisconsin.
I had a fighting badger who's Fort Carson, Colorado.
Woohoo!
Oh, great. Welcome. What's your comment? We've got a few minutes before the break, dear, so what is your comment?
I have been part of pods with Marcella since the very beginning, because when my son went into the service, he was 37 years old. I am 61. Oh, wow. My pop was a Marine drill instructor, and Marcella and I connected, and I went, babe, we will scream together, calling, hey, soldier, I can't hear you. And I hug people from one end of the United States to the other, and we have friends all the way around the world that are military moms, no matter who they are, France, Germany, England, and the British Isles, that are all interested in what we're doing and how we're surviving as moms, wives, and families in the Blue Star field.
Wonderful. And you said that your loved one is now where? Did you say? I'm sorry?
My son's in Fort Carson, Colorado.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. Has he been deployed overseas? Have you had him stateside, or has he been overseas, did you say?
Him and his unit was in the Fahar River Valley of Afghanistan for a year, from August of 2010 to July of 2011. 2,500 young men and women, not a single shot fired in anger. They worked with families in the village and constantly Skyped as to what they needed in order to help teach the children there of the 21st century instead of living as before the time of Christ.
That was what I was going to ask you, is how much communication did you have? Because this time around, it is so different from, say, when my husband served, in that everyone can be chatting with each other. Obviously, there's a little bit of time in between. Ardith, we have a break coming right up in about 15 seconds. Hang on there. We are just going to close out this segment. We're going to be back with Marcella Stretch after the break, with Parents of Deployed Service Members, a wonderful support group that you can search right on Facebook and put a request in to be a part of it. We'll be back on Military Mom Talk Radio after this break. Don't go away.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true.
I love it.
Debbie Glickman and Deanna Cohen know it. Join these soul sisters on TogiNet.com. Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true. Showcases two sides. One, to help entrepreneurs showcase their products and tell their story of their happily ever after. And two, to interview people who have realized their own fairy tale and doing something to benefit others. This show is here to help folks who have an idea and want to get it off the ground, as well as to inspire people to make the world a better place by doing something extraordinary or out of the box to help others. Both of these entrepreneurs have their own businesses and websites. With more information on their passions and successes, first for Debbie, fairytalewishesinc.com, and for Deanna, thenextbigzing.com. Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true with the Soul Sisters, Debbie Glickman and Deanna Cohen on TogiNet.com.
Information is power, the power to change your life. So be here for Education to Excellence. Some of the most valuable information you may ever receive will be shared with you 7 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night with Education to Excellence with your host, Bruce Beichman. You'll benefit from insightful shows featuring guests that are proven experts in their field. Little-known facts on how to improve your health by making one very simple change in your morning routine. If you're a high school graduate or working adult and a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree from an accredited college would change your life, you won't want to miss this. Education to Excellence. Shift your career into high gear without ever attending a traditional college class. Learn investment strategies from proven experts who have a track record of helping normal individuals build abnormal wealth. Check out their website, excellence.com. Then join us for the show, Education to Excellence, with your host, Bruce Beichman. Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and a statue of liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd. And Robin, we got a barn burner going on. We've got 3 callers on hold. We've got Marcella Stretch here. Holy cow. They are all members of a group on Facebook called PODS, Parents of Deployed Service Members. This is really important, you guys. On Military Mom Talk Radio, we handle moms, we handle women in service, we handle the wives and girlfriends of our armed forces. And Marcella, you have a closed group, and I got to tell you, I was a little nervous at first when you said, well, you know, it's a closed group, you have to apply. What does that mean? What do we, you know, for those listening today who want to join, what do they have to do?
They have to request to join, and what I would do, or what they can do, is send me a private message to let me know what their relationship is to a deployed service member. Because we want to make sure as much as possible that they are parents and not spouses or siblings or any other relationship. But they can be grandparents, godparents, surrogate parents, somewhere in the parent field.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good thing in that there's going to be times when I'm sure people are going to want to post something that's real sensitive to their heart, and they're just not going to want the whole world hearing their thoughts. They need someone who's going to appreciate and relate, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Marcella, we do have someone else. I think, Sabrina, do we have Kelly in the queue? Is that who we've got next?
I think we got Lisa, Kelly, Barbara, and Cassie. This is the call-in winner show. So take your pick. Who do we have? Sabrina, come on, throw one on the air.
Kelly.
Hello. Who do we have online?
This is Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to Military Mom Talk Radio. What did you want to comment about either Marcella or PODS?
First, I want to thank Marcella. She actually found me when I really, really, really needed somewhere to go. She found me and asked me to join pods right after my son deployed. This is his first deployment.
And how long have you been a member, Kelly?
Since December. Right after my son deployed.
Wow. And was this his first deployment?
This is his first deployment. He's still gone. I really like it because no matter what time of day or night, because as a mom, you're going to wake up odd hours and wonder, what's my kid doing? How is he doing? Is he okay? I can always get online and on this Facebook group, and there's going to be somebody else up wondering the same things I am. And it's great that we can all join in and help pump each other up. It's really great.
That's wonderful. Kelly, we do have a couple of other people, so I'm going to say thank you to you. God bless, and we know that your son is going to be in good hands and be home before you know it.
That's exactly right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Next on the roster, I think we have, is it Lisa? Welcome, Lisa.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Lisa, where are you calling in from? And you guys, I'm going to split last week of school. I don't have to do the child care shuffle anymore. Thank you, Robin, for closing out the show.
Okay.
Bye-bye, hon. Lisa, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Corona, California.
Wow. Wow. And where is your loved one serving right now?
My son is serving, and he's on his first deployment, and he was just recently deployed in April.
And what was one of the things that you found as a comfort for Marcella's group for parents of deployed service members?
I was raised an Army brat, but when my son joined the Army the day he left for training, I was alone, no friendships or nothing. And I've been with Marcella's group for over a year, and I have friends from everywhere now. And I know at any given time, day or night, if I need someone, I just go to her group.
Any time of day or night, right?
Any time, day or night. And it could even be you're having problems with something else at home, and they're so welcoming. They don't just take care of our soldiers. They take care of us as a family and a whole.
Yeah. Marcella, have you ever had the opportunity to meet some of your members? Do you ever have personal meetings with people, gatherings?
Yes, we do. We sometimes what happens is, matter of fact, just on Friday past, I went up to Bethesda, the new Walter Reed Hospital, to meet one of my parents. Her son was injured in Afghanistan, and I spent less than 2 hours with her and her son, which was a nice meeting. But I have met other parents. We had lunch together a couple of times, and then other parents have met each other. And the most awesome meeting that I can always remember is the meeting of two cousins who did not know they were cousins until they came to pods.
Is that right? Wow. Yes. That's fascinating.
And they lived less than an hour from each other. Yeah, they lived less than an hour from each other, and they found out they were cousins just by looking at each other's last names.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing.
And Lisa, they both had deployed sons at that time.
Is that right? Wow. Lisa, we're going to say goodbye to you. We wish you the best and know that your son is doing a wonderful service for our country, and we thank him so much. And
we wouldn't get through it without Marcella. She finds us all information we need, phone numbers, anything we need. She goes above and beyond to help us.
Well, thank you so much for everything that your son and you as a family are doing for our country.
And thank you.
I think next in the queue, we've got someone named Barbara. Do we have Barbara ready to come on? I think, maybe.
Hello?
We've had such a busy show. We've had so many people. Sabrina, I think, do we have someone on? Oh, we've got such a bad connection. I'm sorry, Barbara. Can you tell us where you're calling from?
I am calling from Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, wonderful. You're out here on the East Coast?
Yes.
We're in the same time zone. And where is your son or daughter serving?
I actually have a Marine son who's stationed at Camp Pendleton, California. And I have two daughters, one out of Fort Bragg and one at Joint Base Lewis McChord. Both of my daughters are presently deployed to Afghanistan.
Wow. Wow. And how has PODS helped you personally through all of this? This is challenging to have your family so far apart.
It is. My son first deployed in the beginning of OES back in 2003, and the support groups that were out there were more of the Yahoo-type groups where you'd post something out there and it might take forever to get a response. With PODS, I knew this time around I didn't want to have to go through that. With the Facebook being so popular, practically everybody's got Facebook, and as the other callers have said, if you wake up in the middle of the night or during the day, whatever time of day or night, there's always somebody there. I have the benefit of also being an Army wife. My husband is active duty Army, and I have the wife's perspective as well, but being the mom is totally different. And it's so nice to be able to connect with other parents that understand how mom feels.
You know, Barb, we've mentioned that in past shows. We've had that discussion that being a military parent is so different from being a military wife. And you would think it's a loved one is away from you and doing a very serious mission, you would think, but they are totally different. And I'm sure you are finding other people that are wearing dual hats like that as well on the PODS Facebook group. Is that correct?
I haven't seen too many whose husbands are currently active duty still, but out in the general community, I have found a few, and everyone agrees it's a totally different hat. You know, your children are your babies. They're always going to be your babies. Your husband is your husband. I feel like mine is a big boy. Yes, I worry about him, but my babies are my babies.
Absolutely. Barbara, thank you so much for checking in with us today. We're so glad that you're a part of PODS, because not only are you having other people meeting your needs, but you're certainly giving other people such a boon of strength, and that's wonderful. So thanks, Barbara, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Marcella, we also have someone else in the chat who said, Kim mentioned that she has two sons as well, deployed at the same year but different places. And she said that she's able to go on to PODS night or day. We are all in this together. And I think that's so important to really reach out to other people, as you have, Marcella. Were you surprised that this grew to the extent that it grew?
Yes, I was very surprised. I had no idea it was going to be this large or this huge. I had no idea. And I'm so glad that the other parents are very active in the group, where if I'm away for 3, 4, 5 hours, someone else has already answered a question or already lent their support.
And isn't that what networking is all about? Because, there are so many times when maybe you need that moment to think about it, or you're not quite sure what's the best way, and someone else has just popped up and said, this is our suggestion, or this is our shoulder right here for you. What do you see coming up in the future for PODS?
I see us getting larger and larger, and one day we hope to have a PODS union. We're not going to say reunion because we never met. A lot of us never met, so I'm going to call it a union.
Well, I think that that's a wonderful goal, because in our virtual world, we have so many people that we're connected to, but there's something to be said for holding a hand and giving a hug. And I think you are a wonderful person, Marcella, to have begun this and to be perpetuating it and to be taking it to the next step, to the next generation.
Yeah.
Marcella, thank you so much. Once again, we want to make sure people search in your Facebook for Parents of Deployed Service Members. You will find the way to put your request in to become a member, and Marcella will be in touch with you to do so. Marcella, thanks for being with us. We do hope that you stay in touch, and we do hope that we see you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. In the next weeks to come, lots more information with our Small Business Expo, and we will have more